For most people, pregnancy is a cause of great joy and excitement, a time of expectation, it's a time of dreaming dreams. But it's not that simple for everybody. I'm going to invite Emily Brocken to come and join me now to tell us something of her experience when she was pregnant just a couple of years ago, I guess, less. Emily, thank you so much for joining us. Take that. Emily, very brave of you to come here. Thank you for doing that. Many of us know Emily. Emily and Liam were two of the first students to start here at Christ Church just shortly after we did. We've known you all that time. You were in our Student Connect group, my Student Connect group for that very first year. We've had Liam on staff. He's back again now. We've kind of known you pretty well, many of us, but not all of us. 5 years ago, you got married. And it was a happy day, it was an exciting day. You were no doubt dreaming of the years ahead, what they would bring, children perhaps. And then when your pregnancy was found out and you shared it with people, there was excitement. We were all just thrilled. Halfway through your pregnancy came quite a difficult day. Can you tell us about that?
So I was pregnant in 2018, and I had a normal scan at 12 weeks. There was no reason to think that anything was going wrong. Went for the 20-week scan, and I remember just walking in there thinking, oh, we just want to know if it's a boy or a girl, that's all we wanted to know. And the sonographer was scanning me, and about 10 minutes in, she stopped and said, I haven't finished scanning yet, but I will stop there. There's a few things that I'm noticing that are quite concerning. And she said, first thing is the baby has a cleft lip and possibly a cleft palate. And I'm thinking, oh, that's fine, that's easily fixed, that's not a problem. And then she said, the second thing is he's very, very small. His arms and legs are really small for where they should be. And the third thing is that his heart is in the wrong place, it's not where it should be. There is a hole in his diaphragm and things have moved up to the wrong place and the lungs are going to struggle to develop. And she said, you'll be referred on to fetal medicine and another consultant will see you and talk you through this and scan you even further. I just remember I didn't really know what to say. I was lying on this bed, tears are coming down my eyes. And she said, oh, would you like to go to a quiet room? So we kind of got ushered into this room next door. And Liam and I just sat there. We didn't really know what to say to each other. Both were crying. And the sonographer came back in and said, oh, you can go and have a scan now with a fetal medical consultant. So we went in and met this lovely consultant who was really, really lovely, who we got to know throughout the pregnancy. And she did a really in-depth scan and said to me that was true what the sonographer has found, and there are other things that are concerning. And therefore, we think that the baby has Edwards or Patel syndrome. All of these anomalies point towards that. And that condition will probably mean that your baby will die during pregnancy. Or if it does survive, it will live a very short life. And she said, your baby will probably struggle to grow now, and probably you will have going to labour early. So we invite you to, she gave us 3 options then. She said, you can terminate, which is probably advisable considering all these things that are going on with the baby. You could continue and do nothing and just keep going with the pregnancy. Or we can do some further tests to find out whether it really does have Edwards or Patel syndrome, and whether there's anything else going on that we should know about. So we kind of thought about it, went away. The next day we rang up and said, we'd like to have further tests and have an amnio to decide just find out really what was going on. We made it very clear, even before that testing, that we were not going to terminate, that we wouldn't be doing that regardless of what we found out, which was kind of a bit of a shock to them. And we found out through this testing that he didn't actually have Edwards or Patel syndrome. and that he actually had a different chromosome issue going on, but it wasn't Edwards or Patel's. And that was about a week later that we found out, 20 weeks ago.
What an episode to go through. It's, as I say, very brave you just to sort of revisit that time. Tell me, how, you've hinted there that there was a kind of expectation that you wouldn't proceed with the pregnancy and you take steps to stop it. Was that, did that become a more general thing from the medical advice or even from friends, colleagues?
I think from our colleagues and our friends, they very much felt like we were doing a stupid thing. You know, we were crazy to continue, and why would we continue the pregnancy that's going to make us suffer, that could lead the baby to suffer, that could lead us to have a disabled child? Why are we deciding to do this? Why are we continuing? Why not just stop this and, you know, try again, have another baby, could be healthy, you know, you might have to go through this. That was kind of what we got from a lot of colleagues, from medics. It was very much a case of why bother, the quality of life that this baby may have if he survives, and it was a very big if, is not worth going through. And it's not even a case of him being born and then everything's fine. The quality of life that he may have would be you know, very poor, and so why continue? We met with a consultant at 24 weeks who said to us that that if I went into early labour, he would be happy to terminate the baby then for us, because there's no, you know, rather than, you know, us seeing the baby or continuing, because it would be very hard to watch and everything. We met different consultants. I was scanned every 2 weeks throughout the pregnancy, and each person we met, you know, was very much saying, he's not going to survive, the pregnancy won't last, you know, why we can put you out of misery, basically. I would say that from our church family and from our close family, that was not what the reaction that we had. Everybody from our church family was so supportive and was so kind to us throughout the whole process. And we very much felt that we were all in this together in some way, that everybody was agreeing with us and standing there with us in continuing. And the support from the church family has been absolutely amazing. So we don't know what we would have done without all of you. It was a really hard time, but a time where we felt really close to each other.
Sounds like there was quite an onslaught there, though, from those quarters. What was it that drove you to say, do you know what, no, we're cracking on, sorry?
Yeah, I think, you know, before we even found this out, Liam and I very much felt, you know, against abortion, that pro-life we would never think about terminating a baby. But I think it was, you know, it made us think more, and it made us trust God more, that he had created this baby inside me. He knew exactly how long this baby would live. He knew exactly what this baby's life would be like. And we didn't. The medics didn't. And at the end of the day, all the things that they told us would happen didn't happen. And he lasted 38 weeks before I was induced. I never went into early labour. He kept growing all that time. And I think we very much felt like we were trusting God that he would keep Ollie for as long as he decided. And it wasn't for us to decide that his life should come to an end. And that, as we were just saying from me, you know, and those pictures, he was made inside me and he looked just like that. And just as he was born, he looked the same. And so it wasn't for us to take away his life, that we would be trusting God that he would protect him inside me all that time. And even after he was born, and there were all the complications, you know, trusting God that he would look after Ollie that time.
Just celebrated his first birthday a few weeks ago. Any reflections looking back now at that painful time?
I think it's true to say that Liam and I did feel that our lives would have been easier if we had terminated. It has been much harder than we thought. pregnancy and his whole life after this. I think there was kind of a naivety that we thought, oh, well, as long as he makes it, as long as he's to the end of pregnancy, everything's going to be fine. And it hasn't been like that. And the consultants did warn us of that. And it has been much harder than we imagined, but so worth it. He's up there now, his one is. And he's come so much better than anyone ever imagined.
Emily, thank you so much for sharing this. I think a round of applause is probably